In the Rialto Unified School District, part of our mission states that we will have high expectation for student achievement. Today, on the Bridge podcast, we welcome 3 of the highest achieving students in the class of 2024, the Valedictorian and Salutatorians at Eisenhower High School. Please welcome Valedictorian Daniel Vega and Salutatorians Brenda Guzman-Reyes and Manuel Perez.
I want to thank all of you for being here. So thank you so much. This is the top of the graduating class of 2024 from Dwight D. Eisenhower High School, a legacy of excellence. I graduated from there, so I'm just a little bit biased. Congratulations to all 3 of you. Daniel Vega, of course, the valedictorian this year.
Yes.
And we have 2, Manuel Perez, and of course we have Brenda Guzman-Reyes. Both of you have GPAs of 4.66. Wow. And 4.85.
Yes.
I don't know. It just seems like you guys are a little bit too brainy for me. So I'm going to read a little bit more about you because this is very impressive and I don't want to miss anything. So Daniel, you, of course, you lead your class with 4.85 for the GPA. You're interested in pursuing a career in medicine to become a physician. Something my sister did, so that's a good choice. And your favorite teacher is Mr. Wen.
Yes.
And we're going to ask a little bit more about that. You applied to Stanford, USC, UCR, UCSB, Cal State San Bernardino, UCLA, University of San Francisco, Cal State San Marcos. But you're strongly considering UCUSB, so Santa Barbara.
Actually,
Oh, no.
development. I think really close to coming to UCLA.
Oh,
actually.
wow. So you're going to go to UCLA. You're going to be a
Yes,
Bruin.
yes.
Okay, excellent. See, I didn't know this. None of us knew this. Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
And you participated in band, the Pace Percussions. That's what you played.
Yes.
Pace Percussion. And then the Golden Gazette school newspaper.
Yes.
Awesome. And so I'm going to talk to you more, Mr. Vega, in a minute. But let me run over to Brenda Guzman-Reyes. Brenda, I met you at the formal ceremony that they had at, So, salutatorian, we already said 4.66 GPA. It's okay to say it again because that's freaking impressive. And then you attended Dunn Elementary School and Rialto Middle School. So you were a dolphin and a tiger, and now you're an eagle. Mm-hmm. Okay. You applied to UC Berkeley, UCLA, UC Riverside, UC San Diego, UC USB, Cal Poly Pomona, but you're strongly considering UCR and UCLA. Any decisions yet?
No, not yet.
No, not yet. Okay.
No.
She's like, I'm holding out. I got a little bit of time.
I need to see the financial aid package and then decide.
That's a good.
What happened?
I'll need to be able to see the financial aid package and then decide.
Woman after my own heart. Good for you. You want to major in chemistry and become a materials chemist.
Scientist.
Okay. Scientist. I'm sorry. You participated in the academic decathlon. You're in Sabobins, the Golden Gazette school newspaper as well. I'm really excited about this young journalist thing going on here. Your favorite teacher, Mr. Quintano, Mr. Wynn, Ms. Jimenez, and Ms. Acuno. And that was your middle school science teacher, and I remember her. So, and she was at Rialto Middle, right?
Yes.
Okay. And of course, Miss Dunbar Smalls, who I actually went to school with, and Miss Solace. Okay. Well, I'm going to talk to you in just a second, Brenda, but we have a long list here. So both of you tied for salutatorian.
Yeah.
Manuel Perez. Manuel, 4.66 GPA. So impressive. You applied to Cal Poly Pomona, Bakersfield, Long Beach, San Bernardino, UC Berkeley, UCI, which is UC Irvine, of course, UCLA, UC Riverside, Northern Arizona. You're strongly considering UCLA or UCI. Have you made a decision?
I'm probably going to go to UCI. But again, I'm waiting for a financial package, the extended due date, so.
Okay, so you're doing the same thing. So
Yes.
you're either going to be a Bruin or an anteater.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, got it. And then you plan to study criminal justice or criminology with the goal of joining the FBI. Wow, that's cool. You ran cross country, track and field. You participated in Rialto Police Explorers and Fontana Police Department Explorer Academy. Excellent. And your favorite teacher? Mr. Bibian. You know, Mr. Bibian was a former student,
Yes.
and he also used to be with DSAC. So, and he's a great Mark Bibian, right?
Yes.
Okay, excellent. So, now that I have your resume done, talk to me about, first of all, how proud do you feel? Were you surprised when you found out by your principal, Mrs. Peludo, about this, Mrs. Enrique as well? Tell me a little bit about the feeling of being, is there pressure? Did you anticipate it? Was it a goal? We'll start with you, Daniel.
Okay. Yeah, I think definitely it was a little bit of a shock. I knew it was going to come down to like the three of us. We've known each other like sophomore year, but I wasn't sure exactly which one I was going to get. So getting Valedictorian was a shock. It was a good one. I definitely feel the weight, and I think that weight, I feel it more because not simply because of how proud I am, but because of how proud my parents are. And I think that really...
What's your mom and dad's name?
Jasmine and Eddie.
And were they just
Vega, yeah.
in tears? Were they just like, oh my God,
they
no.
were proud. I remember they had already known. Mrs. Enriquez had called them before.
Right.
So they had already known, but yeah, at that, when
now,
they announced it...
Are you the only child?
No,
Okay.
no, I have 4 other siblings. There's
Older,
quite a bit of
younger?
us. I have 1 older and 3 younger.
Okay, so they were really happy.
Yeah, they were happy, but I think it really, they were happy. Of course, I knew they were happy, but it wasn't until the Distinguished Scholar Ceremony where, I was speaking and I just saw like my parents like tears coming down, and I was like, oh, that felt good. Yeah.
Yes,
yeah.
Absolutely. What a wonderful story. Thank you. What about you?
Well, I didn't really anticipate it. It wasn't really my goal, but I thought I would maybe have a chance because I was always in like the classes with like Daniel and stuff. And so if Daniel had a chance, then maybe so did I.
That's sweet. How humble of you. 4.66. What do you mean I didn't expect it? This is great stuff. This is very impressive.
And so when I did receive it, I felt good, but I just didn't. I had greater concerns like my homework, so it was just a nice little accomplishment to put on my resume.
Absolutely. And also, who's your parents?
My dad is Jesus and my mom is Olivia.
Okay. And they're, of course, as elated, as excited?
Yes, my mom particularly, because she said I was like had a difficult like birth. So, yeah.
Aw. So she feels like, paid off.
Yeah.
Excellent. Thank you, Brenda. That's a great story. Now we have to get to you. What about you, Manuel? I know yours was a little different, so talk to me about it.
So mine was just a fun experience, if I were to say, because as soon as the principal called me up, I didn't expect it because I knew Daniel and Brenda were like going to be the top because we known each other since sophomore year. Because freshman, it was just COVID and it was sad times. But when I came back to school, the first person I saw was Brenda and Daniel.
Oh,
and
how wonderful.
And I saw they were going to be like, oh, I know for sure they're going to be intelligent. But as soon as it went up to the principal office, she announced, she said, oh, you're going to be Salutatorian with Brenda.
Salutatorian.
Yeah, Salutatorian.
Yes.
Well, Brenda.
And you said what?
And I was like, I just had my mouth open.
You're like,
yeah, like,
oh my goodness, speechless.
Speechless, yeah.
Wow. How did your parents feel?
They were very excited. My mom would just kept on hugging me and say, good job, good job. And my dad, he just gave me a good old hug.
He said, go mow the lawn.
Yeah.
So, and this is through all 3 of you. Thank you for that. That's a great story. So this is something for all 3 of you. What was the thing that you sacrificed? Because you can't get to a level of 4.0 is great. 3 point something is great. But we're talking 4.66, 4.85. And we also talked about you being a musician, you two being journalists working in the Golden Gazette, and you also, participating in, and I'm sorry, Manuel, I didn't finish it, the police program. So Police Explorer for Fontana. All of this takes time. So you're very well-rounded individuals. It's not just school. It's not one-dimensional. What did you give up? What's the sacrifice? If there's somebody in middle school, we have 5 middle schools in Rialto, we have 19 elementary schools, they're watching this podcast. What does it take? I want to be just like Brenda. I want to be like Daniel. I want to be like Manuel. You tell me, what does it take to get to the level of this kind of academic achievement?
I think what it takes is just an incredible want to succeed and an incredible drive. I think you don't get to this position unless you want it and you like really make it your goal to succeed. Obviously, there's a trade-off. Sometimes you can't go out with your friends because you're, studying or you're doing homework or something like that. But I like to think of those situations like I'm not giving something up, but I'm investing something that later is going to have a turnout.
Excellent. What about you, Brenda?
I think for me particularly that led to my academic success was I didn't make my academic success my entire worth, but I definitely prioritized it over everything. And I think the biggest sacrifice I made was definitely sleep, because I really like to sleep. I've been taking like a nap after school every day since like kinder. So I had to sacrifice that a lot because I had 6 periods instead of like a 3 period as most seniors do. And so what really helped me was since I was in middle school, I instilled a habit of using a planner. And so that really helped with time management.
Excellent. So time management and getting lots of sleep, or lack of sleep, but
Lack
trying
of
to
sleep.
pick up on it. You're like Mr. Carlos in our communications office. He always finds a way to take a quick nap. We have to do more of that because it's good for your self-help. And what about you, Manuel?
For me, the main thing I sacrificed was sleep. Like I would sleep at 3 o'clock in the morning, mostly. And how I recover that sleep is mostly waiting for the break, like spring break or winter break, and just wait for those breaks. But I know for a fact that it will just like come soon. So I just keep on trying to study hard, and that just motivates me. It's just the desire to have like good grades, because since like middle school, it will like I always had the like intention to get A's, and I really wanted that throughout high school, and because of that, I just had the motive to keep getting A's.
Okay, and it was wonderful because we're talking to Eisenhower High School Salutatorians and Valedictorian, and I want to end this podcast by asking you questions that is related to Eisenhower High School. We all know that it is your sacrifice and your self-determination and your parental support that has led you to this level of being the top 3 scholars at Ike. But talk to me about your favorite teacher, subject, and your counselor, and how they assisted in implementing all these, kind of motivating and giving you towards that path of this type of success academically.
So my counselors, for a fact, Miss Edwards, she introduced me to the Route to Police program, Explorer program. She said, how like in 2019, I believe, like there was a program before COVID happened, and it's all I wanted to join that because I was relating to police and the job I wanted to get like as soon as
be a future FBI, Federal Bureau of Investigation. Okay, so your counselor was instrumental.
Yes.
Yeah. Sometimes we forget to mention the counselors, right? We're talking about our favorite teachers and so forth. So Miss Edwards was instrumental in your path to that. And what about you, Brenda?
Well, I listed several teachers because since I was in middle school, I always received more support from the science teacher, Ms. Okuno. And then when I got to high school, I still really like science, which is why Mr. Wynn, my chemistry teacher, he's one of my favorite teachers who also gives me a lot of support and help. And I also think he's just kind of brilliant. And then I put Mr.
Well, you made his day. Okay, good.
I also put my math teachers, Miss Smalls and Miss Solache, because they have always just had very clear explanations, never made me really confused, and I like how punctual and how strict they are to the timeline of how we need to get done this unit. I needed that discipline, and Mr. Quinto, I've just really like history, and I've always felt comfortable in his class.
Wonderful. Miss Dunbar Smalls, and I went to school together at Eisenhower. So we would call each other after high school sometimes, and she would help us with math, and we would talk to her with English. So my goodness, she's still doing that. Yeah. She's a wonderful teacher. Yeah. And you?
Favorite teacher, or at least not necessarily, favorite teacher, I guess we'll say, is definitely Mr. Wen, who I actually had last year, and Brenda already mentioned him. Yes, he was my AP chemistry teacher, and it's a tough class. It's a really tough class, but it didn't feel as hard because I knew if I had any questions that I could go to him, and he would work it out with me. He would go next to me and say this, you do this, you do this. If I had questions, he would answer them. And even now that I'm not his student anymore, I know I can still go to his class and I can talk to him about anything. I still go to his class when I was navigating UCLA and their admissions process. He is a UCLA graduate. So he helped me with that, and he'll send me scholarships that I can apply for. Any questions I have, I know that I can ask him specifically, and I do. And I'm so thankful that he's there. I definitely think all of you guys watching, if you want to give a teacher an award, he's the one.
Mr. Wynn.
FYI, Mr. Wynn.
Okay,
Yes.
we got that. I got that note down. Your counselor,
My counselor was Kelly Edwards.
Miss Edwards. Oh, wow. So 2. And your counselor?
So I actually had Miss Edwards my first 3 years, and then Miss Cole this year, my senior year.
Okay.
And they were both instrumental. I remember my very first day on campus after COVID. I went to her office and I said, "This is my plan. Like, can you help me figure this out?" And she did. And
Wow.
and now look where I am.
And look where you're
Yeah.
at. That's right. Wow, this is awesome. I want to congratulate all of you. We will see you in June as the top 3 graduates of Eisenhower High School. I know you're getting your speeches ready.
Yes.
We have a scientist, we have an FBI agent, and we have a physician. So we are in great hands for the future in the Rialto Unified School District. I always end this podcast with our young scholars with one last question. If there is one word that describes you, what would that word be? Anybody can go, so we're not going to do 1, 2, 3.
Okay.
Well, I've always thought myself as peculiar. I think weird is a bit too harsh, but peculiar is a little bit more interesting. And again, Mr. Wynn, one time he was speaking in class, and he said he would also describe himself as peculiar. But months back, we had a conversation where he gave me a lot of advice, and in it, he told me that he sees part of himself sometimes in me, and so I just thought, wow. So,
Oh, wonderful. Peculiar. I love it.
One word that describes myself is ambitious. If I were to say, it's just I'm just like working towards the career I want to go towards. So I just very ambitious towards that.
I can't imagine that, Manuel. I mean, 4.66, and you want to be an FBI agent? There's no ambition there. Big sarcasm. I think you're awesome. So wonderful. You're going to get there.
Thank you.
So ambitious, peculiar.
And yeah, I think a word that would describe me is probably positivity. I try to take a more positive outlook, especially because it's incredibly difficult. You know, sometimes you have so many classes and you just feel like, oh, the homework never ends, the work never ends, and now I have to go volunteer, now I have to go do this, not do this, and it can get draining. But I always like to think of it in a positive manner because it helps me function.
Excellent. Well, thank you for being here. I appreciate this. We learned so much from you, and we really, really appreciate our young scholars. Your hard work has paid off, and I will see you in June for the graduation at the Toyota Arena.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. And I want to thank you for being here. I am Saida Joffrey, and we'll see you next time on the Bridge Podcast.